This is Freddy and I'm going to be doing a nutrition program today, and we're going to be talking about the body and how it's made of cells, and like a car needs gas in the gas tank and a good spark plug in order for the engine to go. We in our body need to have good macronutrients, which is protein, good carbohydrates, and good fats, quality fats, and the macronutrients, and then we need to have the good micronutrients, which are the vitamins and minerals, which act like the spark plug, and together this gets our body to functioning in a way that's going to be healthier. We also need vitamin bases, the vitamin A, C, E, and other vitamins as soldiers to fight the free radicals that want to attack our cells and cause diseases. And then we also want to make sure that the cell walls, which is a 75% of fats around the cell wall, we want to make sure that those are permeable. And so that's where we need our omega-3s, and so that the toxins can get out of our cells, the waste get out of the cells, and the good nutrients can get in to build our cells. And so I hope you enjoy watching the rest of the program, and we'll go into these items a little bit more in depth. Have a good day.
Sweet.
And my name is Freddy Schroeder, and I have been in the Amway business since 1965. And prior to that time, I guess I'm going to be talking about my nutritional story now, because in my other programs I will go into more of my history about the Planet Safe products and how we found out about them, and they were safe for the earth, and they rinse free so you don't have any soapstone in your drain pipes and that. And that I cover at some of the other meetings. But this is, I guess we start with regular home care products, because before Nutrilite, my husband and I were always sick. We always had colds. And he used a handkerchief. I used Kleenex. And his handkerchief was always full of snot. And snot was hard, it was the stain that was hard to get out. And in Amway, when I started using the products, we had a product called LOC, Liquid Organic Cleaner. So multi-purpose, all-purpose cleaner. And we also had a product called Germicidal, which took care of viruses and germs and things like that. And so I would soak his handkerchiefs in LOC and Germicidal.
Okay.
And lo and behold, I could get all of the snot stains out. So anyhow, then the doctor said, because I was always going in with colds and that, well, you need to get a good vitamin C. So I went to the pharmacy and found, this was Columbus, Nebraska, and they had a Tulip was the name of the drugstore. And I did not want a sales clerk. I wanted Dick Tulip. I wanted the pharmacist. I wanted the best vitamin you could get so that I could get rid of my colds. So he picked out the best vitamin C. It didn't do diddly. So then comes, this is 1965, then comes 1963, and Rich DeVos and Jay Van Andel, the founders of the company, were going to merge with this company called Nutrilite, because they had first been in the Nutrilite business as distributors, and they knew that with so much of the food in our country being what is it that we do with processed foods, that we weren't getting the nutrients out of our food that we needed, and so we really needed to have something to supplement. And they knew of no company that had a better supplement than the Nutrilite company. So they merged with Nutrilite, and any of you know me, I'm through a fit. Pills why do we want to get with a pill company? I didn't believe in Amway, and now I believe in Amway products, and what are they going to do getting into a pill company? I tried vitamins and they didn't work. But I went to all of the seminars to get the information, and then that's what I'm going to share, some of that information today. And this is the Nutrilite story, and of course there's a lot of information online through my website on Nutrilite, and I have a wonderful video that shows you the farms, and they are like towns. I mean, they have their own dentists, their own doctors, their own schools, and the people that work there have, they're like they're going into surgery. They are all protected. They don't let people come in and out because they don't want any cross contamination. And everything, all the plants that they grow are certified organic, and they even pay farms around to not spray. So there's no spray, pesticides or insecticides or anything that will come over to cross-contaminate. And so they're the only supplement that on the bottom you will see that there is a number. They can trace this supplement back to the actual field that it was grown in and all the way through the processing. And that video will really show you more than what I'm going to be able to show you today. But this is a postcard of one of the original. This is in the 1930s. You can pass that around. But this is a long time company. And so I went to the seminars, and I saw rat cages where they had a rat that was, I'm just going to share some of the stuff that I saw. This doesn't actually have anything to do with our supplements, but one of the cages, the rats had been fed whole grain, unprocessed foods, and the other was processed. And that was skinny rat with dull hair and just didn't look healthy, in fact would die. And then I came out with this slogan: the whiter the bread, the sooner you're dead. And I'll never forget that, you know. And so I try to stay away from the white breads and
Kids that on their kids.
What?
Tell our kids that.
And so that was one of the things. To ensure quality, they perform over 12,000 tests each month. Every ingredient in the Nutrilite product is carefully inspected. They have a team of quality control experts. Over 600 tests and checks are conducted on the Nutrilite XX, and that is the multivitamin and mineral from harvest to finished product. And each month they manufacture over 1 billion tablets, and then they've got food bars. And one of my soon programs, I'm going to be sharing and have taste samples of. They have now got the USDA approval that says that these products that we have now available are tested and approved by the USDA. And there are food bars and drinks that have vitamins and minerals, can be used as meal replacements. It would be wonderful for people that are taking Ensure, Booster, different things like that, because they really are going to have a very high quality product. I am imagining that it will cost a little bit more than what the cheap ones do, but I have learned that quality is never expensive. If you buy something and it actually has everything in it that it says it does, and it's high quality, it's actually going to work better in your body, and you're going to get more benefits from it. Why Nutrilite? Well, it's the number one selling company in the world, but yet you do not see it advertised because the company spends their money on research and development and quality ingredients. And then they don't put fillers or anything like that in the product, and so they are, this is not going to be a real professional video, but you that are watching this online, I'm going to give you the information, but this is going to be from an elderly senior citizen, and I have wanted to share this information so that it could be put on YouTube, because there are many people around the country that things that I learned I want to pass on to them, and so this is the way that I'm going to do that. There are 8 features of the Nutrilite Sustainable Farming System. Consider the farm as an organism, including interaction and diversity of people, animals, plants, and elements of the earth working together in perfect balance. And that's what you will see on that video, and I will be able to show that video because I found it when I was getting ready for this program. And so I do have that. The integration and diversity of the plants that are cultivated and the people and the animals living on the farm. The preservation of habitats, natural ecological system areas within the farm boundaries to sustain the diversity of both native plant and animal specimen. Wide-based soil nutrition, protecting the soil as a living organism with the goal of maintaining 50 to 50 elements in the soil by feeding the soil natural materials. And I know that in my home product seminar that I do, I talk about our septic tank and the drainage area being close to the garden that my mother had, and how after World War II, when they started using the synthetic detergents in that this would reach into the soil and it actually killed the nutrients and a garden wouldn't grow. And so my dad had to plow another piece of land where the nutrients had not been destroyed. So you can't have in a plant some nutrients if it isn't in the soil in which it is grown. So this is a very important feature of these products. No contamination is allowed, creating a healthy and thriving base. To that, the need for curative measures is limited. 6, preservation and cultivation of a wide variety of seeds. 7, traceability of every action performed on each piece of land so that we may truly work as one with nature and respect the farm as a living organism. And then social life, I talked about that. I could not believe, what a big community it was until I had seen this video. I have toured the original Nutrilite plant in Buena Vista, California. And there you have to put on a hat, you have to put on the shoes, to walk through there because they want no guests to leave any contamination. But that was very impressive. I mean, I've seen it and everybody says, man, you can eat off of the floor. And I know that one of the things is that I really took from that is that these products dissolve in your stomach and they go into your blood system and that. Whereas there are many stories of vitamins that are bought in the store that you can find them in the septic tanks or in the porta potties and that. They may be less expensive, but if they go through their body and they're not helping you, what good are they? And Nutrilite is the only global vitamin and mineral brand to develop safe and effective supplements made from whole plant concentrates known as phytonutrients, grown, harvested, and processed on certified organic farms, setting it apart from the other makers of dietary supplements. And they have over 100 scientists, and they have 180-day, 100% customer satisfaction. I do want to say that there's an exclusive process, and it's like they have the extracts of the different plants that are taken. And extracts are more concentrated than the concentrated powder. Does that make sense? Like vanilla extract, and then I just don't know how to explain it, but it's like in our home care products, you can take a 2 tablespoons or 2 teaspoons, actually, if you have a front-loading washer machine, and it'll do as many loads or a better job than a cup of another detergent. So in your vitamins and supplements, you have your IUs and things like that. And so everybody wants to look and say, oh, I want to see how many IUs is in this. And this might say that it's got 900 milligrams. And they'll say, oh, but I can get 1,000 from this other product and it costs less. Well, that's not telling you how much good it's really doing in your body, because these are units of measure. And that was something that it was very confusing to me, because, you know, I always thought, well, you just look at the bottle and you think what it is. But I have since heard there are a lot of doctors, medical people that are in the business because they're into wanting to help their patients become really well, and they know that the supplementation is very important because it's not possible to get.
So you're saying, how pure is it?
It's
So
very
we're
pure.
looking at 10,000 units.
And the story begins back in the early 1900s, and a man named Carl Renberg was assigned by the Carnation Milk Company to go to China to sell milk. You know, I don't think that the Asians are too big on milk today even. So that was not a very easy job. But he was noticing that the Chinese were getting sicker and sicker as the years passed. And he discovered that in order for a wealthy mother to give birth to one healthy baby, she needed to become pregnant 12 times. The other 11 babies were either deformed, miscarried, or died of crib death. Meanwhile, the poor people had no problem bearing healthy children. He finally came to the conclusion that it was the food they were eating. During this same time, the British brought to China polished white rice. And he discovered that much of the vitamin B was lost in the rice in the processing. This was the reason for difficulty in wealthy women bearing healthy children. And he continued his research, and it began on watercress, parsley, kelp, alfalfa, and other plants. And he came up with the Nutrilite concentrate. And then he returned to California, and he bought land in the Lakeview, California. There were 2 inactive volcanoes in the fertile San Jacinto Valley. And this land is so fertile that it's known to have topsoil 300 feet deep. And Carl was completely against putting any chemicals in the soil. And he found that the root system, roots could go 150 feet deep compared with average roots of 20. And sometimes 90% of the nutritious part of the plant is lost during harvesting and shipping. And so they would go out to the fields at 3 and 4 in the morning. They would find the time whenever there was the most nutrient value to the plant. And then they would dehydrate it like 2,000 pounds and end up with 200 pounds. And then they would go one step further, and this is called the Nutrilite process. And this is exclusive. That is, it will extract the crude fiber and dietary fiber, and with the end product of this process being 6 pounds. And so that's why, you know, even though it's a smaller amount, it can do more because it's To me, I'm gonna say it's more concentrated.
Nutrient dense.
That's a good word, nutrient dense. Okay, and then the double X, which is, this is the daily, and then I'll talk about the double X, which is a little higher in potency. They had an impartial study, and Dr. Urschel reported back 4 things he found to be true about the Nutrilite concentrate. The first 3 is that 1, human beings lived longer if they used Nutrilite double X. And my grandson who's videoing this can attest to that, because he's seen Grandpa and Grandma live longer than their other in-laws and that. And people, number 2, people will have a greater resistance to disease. And that's what's happened to me and to my husband. We had, don't really know if we ever had any colds. I had something like RSV and, you know, some of those things, but not the colds that I used to be going to the doctor for all the time. And number 3, people will have more energy and stamina if they use the Nutrilite double X. And there's about 50,000 associated food factors in the concentrate. So then off of this paper, which was way back, it's not a medicine and it's not a drug. What it is it's going to give your body good nutrition. And then, so you don't expect, if you take a pill, that you're going to feel better than in an hour. Like, you know, if you take an aspirin, you expect you're going to feel better in an hour. What I'm going to show you is how it nourishes the cells. But it's also very important that you get a multivitamin. And that is because when you use a single vitamin, you are in effect sending a pitcher out to win the game and leaving the balance of the team on the bench. Many of our authorities agree that it is rare when a single vitamin deficiency is found. Multiple deficiencies are far more general. And then, of course, it's talking about Thomas Edison said that until man can make a blade of grass, Mother Nature can laugh at scientists. We're not belittling scientists because they have made powerful advances in all fields. Man can duplicate ocean water, with the exception, nothing will live in it. And so this is kind of, you know, they're talking about the synthetic vitamins that a lot of companies make. Okay, I wanted to do this. Well, I'm going to do this because it's here. There's foundational vitamins, and if you open your catalog there, turn to page 5. And you'll see 5 and 4. On 4, you're going to see the Nutrilite double X. Here's the double X, and then here's the different plants that are in that. And that is listed on the box. And then another thing that they're talking about for foundational is the omega-3s and the plant protein powder. And then of course they've got the exercise down, but I'll pass this around. Then we have the targeted ones, and then they have the convenience ones where things are just, you know, in little packets and you just take a little packet. So I'll pass this around. This was a better picture of the double X. And then this page here goes into the vitamin A, and it helps support healthy eyes and skin and bone. But all of all of these nutrients in here. All of this is parts of the body that it will support. So I thought that was another nice piece of literature. Okay, now I'm going to go up to the board and I'm going to try to stand up. You want to bring the board over, Pam? This is the black one. Whoops. I don't know which is black.
Yeah, it's black.
Oh, black on one end. It's got two ends.
Yeah.
Okay. Here is a cell. And here it has a cell wall. And in here it has little neutrons. Okay. It says right here they are, and you can help clean this up. It's called a
I think they're
electrons. Okay. Now,
Electrons go on the outside.
pardon?
Electrons go on the outside.
What goes on the inside?
What?
What goes on the inside?
Nucleotides? You were close.
No, electrons on the outside.
Okay.
Neutrons and
Positrons. I think, right?
Well, anyhow, this is how antioxidants work. We've got free radicals out here, and free radicals are the bad guys, and they want to come in, and they want to destroy these things in the cells, and they want to get them to misform, eroding them, and leading to disintegration of the cell, and they open the door to cancer and other ills. And what we want to have is antioxidants, and those are like the soldiers, antioxidants. And those are like A, C, E, S, vitamin A, C, E, S, that are like soldiers that come in here that fight these free radicals so they can't get in there and destroy the cell.
they give you wrinkles.
They give you wrinkles too. They age you. Okay, and then this wall is it's the membrane that covers every cell, and it's 75% fat. And we need macronutrients to get in there. Okay, macronutrients.
Macro means fat.
That's proteins.
Big. It means big, not yeah, big is large.
And then it needs good fats. And it needs good carbs. Okay, and then your micronutrients are your vitamins and minerals. Okay, if this wall is blocked, covered with synthetic fats, it can cause problems. And synthetic fats are used in foods. They thicken and harden the food, and the membrane can be covered with synthetic fats that thicken and harden and clog the cell. So then we have to have the rotor-rooter because they have the plaque. Pass this around. And what is important, and here again, I just about jumped off of my chair because it took me a while to to get my faith built up in vitamins. And then they're coming along with this thing they say is even more important than vitamins, and it's called omega-3. And we have here on your page the Nutrilite Advanced Omega. It has 1,000 milligrams of omega-3s, EPA and DHA and ALA, plus 3 times greater absorption to help support your heart, brain, joint, eyes, and skin health. Okay, what I understand is that they do, and why they're so necessary, is because they help this cell wall to become permeable so that your toxins and poisons can get out and your good macronutrients can get in, so that as your cells rebuild, they're going to build healthier. Okay, so that is a little bit about that. And here is some good carbs. Here's the white, and would be cauliflower and garlic and horseradish and mushrooms and onions and turnips and pears, and then that gives quercetin. And then here is the yellow squash, papaya, pineapple, and then here's the lycopene. That's your oranges and reds. Here is your purples and your greens. And so individually, if anyone wants to go through and talk about it more, I can talk about it over the phone or send you literature. And this is the Nutrilite Daily, and it's on the next page. Whoops. Is it not on the next page? That was the kids' vitamins on the next page. Okay. It's the next page. We have a women's daily and we have a men's daily. And we used to have just a multi-daily. Well, the reason why they've changed this is they've got a little bit more in the women's to support bone health. And then they've got more in the men's to support prostate health. Since women don't need the prostate, that's why we have the separate ones. So anyhow, right now, I will have a follow-up video, but this is the information I wanted to give you now. It's to know how the cell works and how it's very important to start with a foundational supplement, and then according to what your health situation is, then add the other targeted supplements, and you can be sure that you're going to feel a lot better. It will take a few months, but you will have a much better health. So thank you.